It's great to see you here once again on Dee's Delights. It is snowing out today. Bedford is supposed to get about a foot of snow. If I was a little bit younger, I would like it, but my gosh almighty. You know, an inch or two, that's not bad, but a foot, nah. I don't like it, even though the grandkids will. Hey, so we're going to get started. Tonight is going to be a very simple recipe. You'll be in and out of the kitchen in a matter of moments. We are going to do the best hamburger patty recipe, and you can either grill this or do it on the stovetop. I'm going to do it in a skillet here. So for this recipe, you're going to need 2 pounds of ground beef. Just wait a minute. It says ground chuck here. Anyone know what the difference between ground beef and ground chuck is? Okay, so apparently there's a slight difference here. You know, she has here 2 pounds of ground chuck. Well, when I think of making for a hamburger, I just assume we're talking about hamburger. But ground chuck is the beef that comes from the front beef shoulders. On the other hand, ground beef is the leftover pieces after cutting the beef into roast and steaks. This means that ground chuck comes from a particular part or from a special cut, whereas ground beef comes from many parts or from other different cuts. Which is better, ground beef or ground chuck? One of the advantages that ground chuck does have is it is a higher fat percentage than ground beef from leaner primal cuts like the round or the sirloin, blah, 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 blah. A 3-ounce serving of ground chuck contains 66 more calories and 8 grams more fat than the same weight in ground round. So actually, by us not having the ground chuck, we are eating healthier tonight. Now, mine is 80-20, so 20% of this is fat anyway. So I don't think we need any more fat in our burger. So we're going to do tonight, I am going to use ground beef. If you want to use 2 pounds of ground chuck, go for it. You can just eat all the fat and grease you want. I have 1.5 pounds of fresh hamburger here, ground hamburger. So I found some old hamburger in the freezer. And I didn't want to wait overnight to thaw it in the fridge, so I just put it in a baggie, in a bowl of cold water, and in about 4 hours it was thawed. So I'm going to use some of that. Let's just see here. Flatten this out. So I need about another 8 ounces. Perfect. 8 ounces. Now what I'm going to do with the leftover is probably toss that, because I definitely won't refreeze it. And as you can see, the hamburger is a little bit pinker than the frozen. But that was in the freezer for about 5 months. I put that in there sometime in August, because I usually try to date my bags. I would have ended up tossing it anyway. Yeah, some of it, you know, could be questionable. Usually it's best to use frozen hamburger within about 4 months, even though it's not going to kill anyone to eat it, you know. So, anywho. Oh, you never know what you're going to get in my kitchen. And we're going to need 1/2 cup of crushed saltine crackers, or you can use panko breadcrumbs. Well, you know what? Doug loves saltines. He still can't taste, but he loves saltines, and usually I have these in the house rather than panko breadcrumbs. So we're going to use 1/2 cup of crushed saltines, 1 large egg, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of milk. I have not been buying regular milk because of Doug's lactose intolerance, so I'm using just almond milk. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1 teaspoon onion powder, and 1/2 teaspoon black powder. Now, this recipe here calls for you to do like a little hamburger press. Usually I just make it by hand into patties. So we'll see. The flavor's going to be the same. Might not look as appealing. And I realize that we don't have hamburger rolls in the house today. So Doug is going to pick some up for me, even though I'm not going to have a bun on mine. I'm trying to watch my carbs, even though I had pancakes for breakfast and oatmeal, you know, so I only watch my carbs when I feel like it. So I'm going to have it without a hamburger roll, but I am going to have it with cheese on top. I love cheese. And that's low carb. Low carb, actually hamburger is low carb. Who would have thought? Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna put our 2 pounds of hamburger in a bowl. I had 3 of my grandkids with me this weekend. Ages 6, 3, and 2. The 6-year-old is a boy, and you've seen him here on these shows before. That's Jack. 3-year-old is a girl named Zoe, and the 2-year-old is a girl named Yara. They had fun, but oh my gosh, are they loud. They destroy the house. They just love snacks. They're ornery. And you know what? Pap and I, we're tired. We love them to pieces. But we do know that we are way too old to be raising grandchildren. So, all of our kids better stay healthy for a very long time. And actually, Doug and I, you know, as far as grandparents go, we're not ancient. I'm 58 and he's 57. So, but my mom, I made her a grandmother when she would have been about 40. My poor mother. So yeah, if you start thinking of it that way, you know, 40 is a much younger grandmother than 58. Okay, so I got my hamburger broken up here. I better wash my hands before I put my hamburger hands in the saltines, because the blood off of hamburger meat or just touching hamburger raw meat is not good. Even though my one aunt used to just eat raw hamburger many years ago. Nowadays I don't think you can get away with that, but I don't know. Maybe you can. She never got sick from it. I guess some people eat raw eggs too and they don't get sick from it. I wouldn't recommend it though. Alright, I think that's good enough. Get half a cup out of here. And we'll put that in there. Oops. Don't want that to fall on the floor. That would make a mess. All right, here. Put that back. 1 large egg. I'm going to mix my egg up a little bit first. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Okay, let's see. Let's take it off here. I love this stuff in food. You know, it's not something you'd want to just sit around and eat by itself, but 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of milk. I hope this is good. How long does almond milk stay good for? Anybody know? Let's see. Used within 7 days of opening. It's probably been pretty close. Not going to worry about it. It's only 2 tablespoons. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon garlic powder. And 1 teaspoon onion powder. And a half teaspoon of black pepper. So, let's mix that all around with our hands. So make sure you've washed your hands, even though I'm sure all of you know that. Oh, look what I got. I got 3 new pairs of bright fluorescent gloves. Rubber gloves. I don't know about you guys, but during the winter months, if I do a lot of dishwashing, even though I have a dishwasher, there's sometimes I'm too lazy to unload the dishwasher in order to reload. So I stand there and I wash them. Or if you have dirty pots and pans that you don't think will work in the dishwasher. So I got 3 pair of these, I think through Amazon. It might have been like 11 bucks for the 3. Fluorescent orange. What's that, like a pinkish reddish color? And lime green. I love it. And they have like little, what would you say that? It's like abrasive, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, you can also scrub your dishes with your hands because they're not smooth. I know this is exciting. To me, it's exciting because my fingers crack so bad during the winter months and trying to do dishes. This is just amazing. Even though gloves like that have been around forever, to me, I normally just don't buy them. I have to wait till my hands get so bad that I can't take it anymore. And then, and only then, will I order them on Amazon. I used to have a blue pair, but they were so tight, they were a small, and I always thought my hands were relatively small. Apparently not. Those I would have to literally try to pull off my fingers when I was done, which made it even worse. So I was almost afraid to put the gloves on my hands. But these things, they're medium, size medium. So unless you have like fingers and hands the size of a 10-year-old, you're going to need a medium. Just a little handy tip for you ladies or gentlemen who are in the kitchen a lot. Hey, I know some of you are guys out there watching because everybody needs to eat. Just not the ladies cooking in the kitchen anymore, folks. Okay, I got that all mixed around. Next, I'm going to heat my skillet up. There again, if you want to do them on the grill, you can. Wouldn't recommend it today. Not here anyway, unless you live in a warmer climate. It says preheat the grill or skillet to medium heat, approximately 350 to 400 degrees. For thick patties, grill or fry the patties for 3 minutes per side, 3 to 4 minutes per side. It says stack the hot patties on hamburger buns and top with your favorite hamburger toppings. And it says to serve warm. How else would you serve a hamburger? Most people don't prefer cold ones, so some of that is obvious, but it says also homemade hamburger patties will keep well tightly wrapped in a plastic wrapper, an airtight container in the fridge for up to 3 days. So if I would want to, I could go ahead and make my hamburger patties in advance as long as I use them up within 3 days. So I'm probably only going to make about half of this today, as a matter of fact, because I do not like reheated hamburger patties. So whatever Doug and I eat tonight, that's all I'm going to fry up. So maybe I'll do 3 hamburger patties, make the rest, put them in the fridge, and then when Doug wants one, he can just fry it up in a pan. Let's get started. Like I said, I do not have a hamburger press. So I am just going to make my patties the old-fashioned way. And I'm not, whoops. And I'm not going to make them too big. Probably be, you know, really I should probably invest in a little hamburger press. Wonder what they would cost on Amazon. Alexa! What? Oh wait, would I call Alexa? Yeah. Alexa, I'm sorry.
It is usually defined as to remain inactive or in a state of repose, as until something expected happens, often followed by for, till, or until. As a noun, waiting.
Alexa, stop! Dear goodness, I don't even know what she's talking about. Alexa, how much is a hamburger press on Amazon? She left me. She said 1 moment, she's gone. Not sure I like Alexa today. I'm only supposed to get 6 patties out of this, and they're like 1/3 of a pound. I don't know. That to me is a pretty big hamburger. If you do 1/3 of a pound, it's 430 calories per burger. So you could make smaller burgers if you want like 1/4 of a pound. But if you're going to have it with bread, you might want to cut back a little bit. Unless you're skinny, you don't have to worry about your weight. Alexa, I need to order a hamburger press.
1 moment. Here's what I found. Amazon's choices: Weston Burger Express Hamburger Press with Patty Ejector. It's $19.99.
$19 for a hamburger?
Burger Press. Hamburger Press Patty Maker Support Non-Stick and Adjustable Use. It's $6.99.
Okay, order me one of those,
One
Alexa.
hamburger press patty maker for 1/4 to half a pound patty. It's $12.19.
Never mind. Alexa, stop.
And
Sit.
more.
Did she stop? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order the one that she said for $6.99. I refuse to pay 20 bucks just so I can press a hamburger. Alrighty, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8. One thing you can do if you're making the patty just by forming it with your hands instead of a hamburger press is in the center of it, take a spoon and just kind of press down in the center of each of the burgers. I did not do that just because I didn't, but you can. So if you just want to make sure that your hamburgers aren't pink, just dip down with a spoon, just like this, in the center of your burgers. Press down in a little bit so there's a slight indentation. Just a little FYI here on Dee's Delights. Okay, here's a little information while my skillet is warming up. History of the hamburger. The hamburger first appeared in the 19th or early 20th century. The modern hamburger was a product of the culinary needs of a society rapidly changing due to industrialization and the emergence of the working class and middle class, sorry, I don't know what happened to my tongue. The working class and middle class with the resulting demand for mass-produced, affordable food that could be consumed outside of the home. Considerable evidence suggests that either the USA or Germany, city of Hamburg, was the first country where 2 slices of bread and a ground beef steak were combined into a hamburger sandwich and sold. There is some controversy over the origin of the hamburger because its 2 basic ingredients, bread and beef, had been prepared and consumed separately for many years in different countries before their combination. Shortly after its creation, the hamburger quickly included all of its currently typically characteristic trimmings, including onions, lettuce, and sliced pickles. It is named after the German city of Hamburg. Very interesting, very interesting. And then it goes on from there, and there's so many interesting little things, tidbits of information about the hamburger. So if you really love your hamburgers and you're totally interested in that, go online, look up a little information. All I know is when I was a kid and we used to go to McDonald's, I used to be upset that they did not serve hot dogs. I never liked hamburgers as a child. I loved hot dogs. Either one is a health food, I'm sure, but you know, I don't know why. And now I love a hamburger. I don't eat a lot of them, but I love them. And today's hamburger is going to be fantastic. Even though some of these are much bigger than the others, they are not evenly shaped, and I feel that's probably why I need the hamburger press. I'm going to order it, the one for $6.99. All right, I can feel the heat. So I am going to do 3 hamburgers. And I'm going to look at which ones are similar in size. Let's time this, see how accurate she is. I think it's going to take 4 minutes per side. So I'm going to let that start cooking, and I'm yelling over the sizzling of the hamburger, even though you can probably hear me just fine. I'm sorry. So sorry. I'm tired. I'm delirious from the weekend with the grandkids, but I will recover just in time for one of them to come back down this evening, who will be here in a half an hour. Okay, we'll flip those burgers in about 4 minutes. I'm going to package each one. That way you can just take out which one you want. Perfect. Ready to go into the fridge. Individually wrapped burgers so that you don't have to reheat them. Never good nuked. Always best right after you fry them up. Gonna flip them. Woo! Definitely done on that side. Even though it looks good. I'm going to turn it down. She said 350 to 400. I'm turning it down to 350. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I would love it if I could just eat whatever I wanted, when I wanted, how much of it that I wanted, any time of day or night. Just like you were when you were a kid. Doug should be home anytime. Look, they're definitely crispy. So I would maybe have your skillet down to like 350. That is really good. That is good. I don't need the cheese. I'm not even going to cover it up. It got done pretty good. So just make your patties flatter, a little flatter, not so big and puffy and ugly as mine. There's grease dripping off my face. Now I like my burgers a little crispy on top. Just adds a nice different texture to it. That was good enough that I could very easily eat another burger, but I'm not going to. It's tempting, but I won't. Doug will be with us in a few minutes and let us know what he thinks. All he's going to be able to do is tell the texture, so I'll be back in a few. Doug is going to have a gourmet feast of 1 hamburger this evening and no sides. I actually am tempted to eat this, but I shan't because it was good. Each of those burgers have about 300 calories, 320, because I cut them down in size. But hopefully you'll want to take a big old bite and make sure that yours isn't pink inside. Here comes Jack. Okay, Pap's, we're on video taping. Pap's eating his burger. We'll see how it goes.
But what are we gonna do when you're done?
We'll probably go outside for a little bit.
Yeah, yours looks cooked the whole way through, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Your cheese is dripping. Oh no, that's mayonnaise. Did you put mayonnaise or was that cheese?
Must be cheese.
So what's your thoughts on the texture of it, Doug? As the cheese hangs down. You sure one will be sufficient for you?
Yeah.
Did you eat something else before?
I might find a side. Instead of eating 2 burgers, I might eat something else.
Oh, really? So what are your thoughts?
I wish I could taste it. It's kind of hard. It's texture-wise, it's a burger.
That's true, but it has saltines in it.
I can't tell that.
Oh.
That's cool.
It looks good. It was good, folks. Doug can't
Sorry,
taste
darling.
it, but it is good. I enjoyed it plain with nothing else on it. Had a good flavoring. Doug is going to make another side, I assume, because 2 burgers was not sufficient for you. Thanks for joining me here once again on Dee's Delights. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Doug, if you could rate it on the scale of 1 to 10, what would you give that burger?
I'll give it a 9.
Oh, all right. Actually, I'm going to give it a 9.7 because as far as hamburgers go, I loved it.
We'll just put a star beside it, and you'll have to make it again once I get
Oh, I did. I'm marking the recipes, so I know exactly whether I want to make them again. And this one, yes, I do, but I'm going to use my hamburger press so that I can make perfect little burgers instead of deformed ones like that. Jack wants to go outside and play. It's good Pap wants to go with you, huh, bud?